Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp. We are so good to have you.
There are so many Cowboy fans here today. Wait. It's starting to feel like the Cowboys are playing in this Super Bowl, right? Yes, it does.
I'm glad that's only a feeling because it's not reality.
Welcome, Miami. We love you.
Undisputed. And guys, we have an amazing show in store. Here's the thing. Snoop Dogg will be here later. Can't wait to talk to him. We also have Browns receiver Jarvis Landry will be joining us, and plenty to talk about there. But we are going to start by talking about that young QB, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs. They are 1.5-point favorites over the Niners, according to Fox Bet. And Mahomes failed to make the Super Bowl last season with home field advantage and now finds himself as the favorite to win it all. So, Shannon, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much pressure is Patrick Mahomes on this week?
Well, he's on a 10, but before I start, Skip, I'm not trying to be cool. I have progressive glasses, and so if I go out in the sun, they get dark. And when I come inside, they're supposed to lighten back up. Because the lights are so bright, it still looks like I have on sunglasses, but these are actually seeing glasses. So I ain't trying to be cool, even though I am cool.
I like them. I think it's a good look.
Somebody just tried to humble brag because somebody is trying to be cool. And it's okay with me. You can wear your sunglasses.
Okay. Skip, it's a 10 because he's the best player on either side in the Super Bowl, and he plays quarterback. And there's no way Jimmy Garoppolo has a run game he can fall back on. They have an outstanding defense that they can win the game that way. We all know, unless Patrick Mahomes plays like he's played in every playoff game that he's ever played, they're not winning this game. There's tons of pressure on him. He was an MVP. He came back after missing 2.5 games, and he's played unbelievable. You look at what he's done in the playoffs, that he's played unbelievable. Skip, and I know it's a small sample size, but in 4 playoff games, he's never scored less than 31 points. So that's the measuring. If you look at their defense and the way they play, they've given up 41 points in the first half. They've given up 14 in the second half. What's different? Once their offense gets going and gets the lead, now their defense can tee off because it takes the running element out of it. I don't think they're very good against the run. They can get after your quarterback, Skip, but as long as the quarterback has to throw the football and there's no threat of the run game. So there's a ton of pressure on Patrick Mahomes because he knows if I don't do 300, if I don't play lights out football, we're not winning. I don't know if anybody knows this, but Patrick Mahomes in the 2 playoff games, he's their leading rusher. Damian Williams in the playoffs, 29 carries, 92 yards, 3.2 a carry. That won't get it done. They can't win with the running game. 49ers can. But Jimmy Garoppolo has shown you flashes where he can throw for 400. He can throw for the high 380s, 3 or 4 touchdowns. Have we seen the Kansas City Chiefs running game win a ball game when Patrick Mahomes doesn't have it going? Have we seen their defense just like, you know what, we're going to lock it down today? That's not how they're going to win this game. So all the pressure is really on Patrick Mahomes because Jimmy G knows I threw 8 passes in one game. I threw only 2 in the second half, and we still won the ball game going away. So he knows he has a defense and a running game he can fall back on. Patrick Mahomes has no such luxury. So it's at a 10, but if there's anybody that can handle that pressure, my homeboy got this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a first on Undisputed. Shannon Sharp was actually objective about the player he calls my homeboy. Because I thought you'd say the pressure on him was like a 1.
Oh, no.
Because he can handle any kind of pressure.
No.
Shannon Sharp just went to 10 on the scale of 1 to 10 pressure. I'm going to go you 1 better. In fact, I'm going to go you 10 better because I think it's a 20. I have never seen anything quite like what is happening this week here in Miami. I'm actually starting to feel sorry for your homeboy. And by the way, you are the igniter and originator of a lot of this pressure because you have been driving his bandwagon all the way to Miami all year, except there were a few weeks when you took off those few weeks because he did lose back-to-back home games at one point during the season. My homeboy losing at home?
That's all right.
Oh, okay.
Temporary
Interesting.
setback.
So here's my takeaway from this whole idea. I've covered a whole bunch of Super Bowls in my day. fact, my first Super Bowl, now that I think about it, was Super Bowl 10 right here in Miami, and it was the first Dallas-Pittsburgh Super Bowl, and it was a low-scoring game won by the Steelers. Remember a little receiver named Golden Richards?
I did.
Mel Blount put him in the hospital. So I go way back. So I have pretty good perspective historically on this. Patrick Mahomes is being treated with more reverence and being more hyped than Tom Brady was before any of his 9 Super Bowls. Trust me on this. I'm hearing more Mahomes this week than I heard at any of the other Brady Super Bowls, 9 of them, dating all the way back to the Rams Super Bowl that they broke through and won with the Vinatieri 49-yard field goal. Obviously, that was Tom's first year of starting. But then against Carolina, he was starting to become the man.
Right.
I didn't hear any of this. And then there was a little drought in there, and then here we went again.
Right.
9 times I've covered Tom Brady's Super Bowls in which I didn't hear any of this kind of reverence, this kind of stature accorded a kid who, by the way, has won exactly nothing yet. Nothing.
Let me ask you a question. In Tom Brady's first Super Bowl, do you believe Patrick Mahomes can win this game if he throws only 1 touchdown pass in the Super Bowl? Do you believe he can win? Because that's what Tom Brady did. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl in which he threw 1 touchdown.
They were 17-point underdogs,
Yes.
I believe. So they
Yes.
were prohibitive dogs in the game.
So
right?
are you saying Tom Brady's first Super Bowl, he was the equivalent player of Patrick Mahomes in his first?
Obviously not.
So you understand why the pressure
but
is here.
this is not Patrick Mahomes' first year of starting,
Yes.
right?
It's his first Super Bowl.
Okay, I got you. But let's look back at what started to unfold this week. Let's go back to Super Bowl opening Monday night, live on NFL Network and on FS1. But what did I hear our man Deion Sanders, who sat right there to open the show yesterday, Hall of Famer, greatest cornerback ever. He referred to Patrick Mahomes on opening night as the master of ceremonies.
Yeah. Everybody needs one of those.
He's won nothing. He's the master of ceremonies.
Yeah.
Then I heard our man Michael Irvin, who sat right there yesterday, just lit this stage up.
Yes, he did.
Hall of Famer. To me, the greatest receiver who ever played. The guy I wanted in my foxhole in Philly and New York and Washington. I heard Michael Irvin call him Mr. Mahomes. Mr. Mahomes from Michael Irvin? Are you kidding me? And then I heard his teammate, Travis Kelce, call him Showtime Mahomes, which is right in the same category you put him in, right? It's Showtime. And I'll give you Showtime because he is the most entertaining player in the National Football League right now, right?
Yes.
And that's the only reason we're all really looking forward to this. That's the tangible reason. That's the reason you can take to the bank, is that he is entertaining, but as far as reverence, for what? So I'm looking at stories now on the internet. Maybe it's just a runaway train on the internet. They're referring to Patrick Mahomes as the Michael Jordan of the National Football League. And so I'm going, wait a second, Patrick Jordan? And the premise is Patrick Jordan doesn't have, sadly, a rival, a clear-cut rival, the way Jordan never had a clear-cut rival. And I'm thinking, well, wait a second, he's won none. I mean, Jordan started winning. He won 6 times with 6 MVPs in the finals.
Right.
And this kid, wait a second, he doesn't have a rival? Well, is he the runaway MVP for this year? No, wait, it's Lamar Jackson. Does that qualify as a rival?
It would have been interesting had he not gotten hurt.
Okay, but Lamar was going to lap him anyway.
I don't know about all
Yes,
that.
he was. Lamar was extraordinary this year. Like from the start. Ravens. Go Ravens. Way to go. and then Russell Wilson, 2/3 of the way through the year, you were still fighting for Russell Wilson to be the MVP of this league.
Right.
And he was extraordinary this year. They both had better performance years than Patrick Mahomes did. Patrick Mahomes won the MVP a year ago, and then he was very good this year, but he wasn't quite as good as he was a year ago. Am I right?
Yeah.
And I even made the case yesterday, and you laughed at me and scoffed at me as always. Dak Prescott actually performed better. He did. I made the case and I closed the case, and I'm not going to reopen the case today because the gory details are too much for you to stomach at this hour. It's
I don't
too
know
early.
what kind of performance Dak was doing, but nothing he did at the quarterback position was better.
I didn't say he's better than Mahomes. I just said I showed you in every category, Dak did this and Mahomes did that.
Except the category that counts the most.
This and that.
Dubs.
Huh? Okay.
Dubs.
Okay, I got it. Well, speaking of dubs.
Yes.
Kansas City went 12-4. They're not 16-0. If you gave me 16-0, I'd say, wow, this kid he's on the brink, man. This is because this coronation week would feel more legit
Right.
if they were 16-0, but they're not.
But here's the thing, Skip. I think what has happened is that if you go back, let's go back to a guy that had this kind of success in his first couple of years. You look at Dan Marino. Dan Marino in his Super Bowl, who is he going against? Joe Montana, who had already won. So you can't say he's head over heels better than Joe. Joe had already had one. You look at Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, time out. Dan Marino, I know some of our audience isn't old enough to even remember this. God bless you. But the point is, Dan Marino, right out of the box, was better than Patrick Mahomes. He was just off the chart. We'd never seen anything like it. I'm talking about the first year he was better. Without the weapons Patrick Mahomes has. He had Duper and Clayton.
Right.
But this is like a track team.
Dan only started 10 games his rookie year. And then his second year.
Yeah, those 10, they're like, whoa.
Yeah, he was special. But Skip, look, just like the Dolphins in '84. They had to rely on Dan. If Dan didn't play unbelievable, if he wasn't the MVP, they weren't winning because they didn't have the defense and they didn't have the run game.
Nope.
The same thing with Mahomes. But what on the other side is Jimmy G. There's nothing comparable about Jimmy G to Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
You couldn't say that about Joe Montana to Dan Marino because